Hey, this week we're talking about teamwork, we're watching some highlights, and then we're taking a look at some of our first impressions. I'm Frank Spiro. Let's talk basketball. This has been a bizarre week in the NBA, dominated by COVID outbreaks across the league. And we're going to get to that in a second. But first, the theme of today's episode is teamwork. We here at Let's Talk Basketball value teamwork deeply. And in that spirit, I've decided to let my friend Brian host today's episode.
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay.
You okay, man?
Say something. The longer you just sit here and say nothing, the more obvious it is what you've done. It's in your eyes. Say something. Say something. Say something. Don't say I killed him. Don't say I killed him. Say something. I'm completely exposed. They're gonna know what I did.
Brian, you okay?
Because your eyes are screaming. Check under the floorboards. He didn't deserve it. He was a good host of American Idol. Say something. Say something. Don't say you killed him. Don't say you killed him.
All right. Maybe we'll try that another time. Speaking of teamwork, there seem to be issues brewing in Atlanta. John Collins and Trae Young reportedly got into it while watching game footage after Collins called out Young for being too ball dominant. Collins has a point. Young is 4th in the NBA in usage rate, and slowly this Atlanta team is going through what doctors are calling a hardenification. If medical experts are correct, the next symptom for Atlanta is to get rid of John Collins, then blame all their struggles on him and try Young out with a different co-star. Beyond that, doctors are giving head coach Lloyd Pierce a lot of side glances and sad looks because his prognosis isn't great either. The Los Angeles Lakers have been very good and very quiet, in a they're so good there's nothing to talk about kind of way. Lakers fans are livid, as without their fix of something to complain about, what have they to live for? Let's get into some action. Sixers versus Nuggets. You'll notice I left out the 7. That's how many players were out due to COVID reasons. Jokic finding Murray early, then Tyrese Maxey getting to the rim. That one's good. The Serbian sensation serving up dimes to Murray, then finding Gary Harris in the corner who drives it to the rim. Sixers rookie Tyrese Maxey was on a mission though, getting the floater to fall, then doing it on the defensive end, getting the tip. And as a nice little reward, you can have a slam dunk. Maxey gets into the lane, finds Isaiah Joe for the deep 3. Don't know Isaiah Joe? Me neither. Tyrese Maxey hits another tough floater over PJ Dozier this time, then swerves to the rim and gets it to go. The veterans getting involved too. Danny Green finding Dwight Howard for the oop slam. Then it would become the Jokic show, finding Gary Harris in the corner for the 3, then hitting the mid-range jumper off the Murray feed. Will Barton gets the steal on the fast break around the back for the Jokic dunk, but Maxey was doing everything he could to keep his team in it, hitting the jumper there. Jokic finding Harris again for the 3-pointer, and then finding a cutting Murray. They did that a ton of times this game. Then getting into the lane, finding Murray again for the corner 3. There's not a better passing big man in the league. Maxey trying his best, hitting the tough one, then getting the mid-range to go, but Isaiah Hartenstein would say no! And then PJ Dozier would have hit the 3 to put the icing on the cake. Final score, Nuggets 115, Sixers 103. Now, if you've just watched that highlight and you're sitting there wondering, hey, do the 76ers usually start Dwight Howard at point guard? The answer is no, though I understand your confusion because they do usually start a power forward at point guard. The Sixers are having issues fielding a full team because of a COVID-19 outbreak, and they're not alone. Numerous teams across the league have had to postpone games, play reserves in place of quarantine stars, and shut down their facilities due to potential outbreaks. Because of COVID, the Celtics might have to start players like Semi Ojeleye, Taco Fall, and Peyton Pritchard. And in Detroit, they might have to start players like Josh Jackson or DeLon Wright. Oh, what's that? There's no COVID outbreak in Detroit? Oh. Seriously though, when it comes to news this week, there's the COVID outbreak and then there's everything else. Games are being canceled every night, and the league has even seriously talked about shutting down for the next couple of weeks. Which is a bummer, but so is watching players like Dakota Mathias and Isaiah Joe have to lead your team. And it's nothing against those players. It's just hard to sit down and escape your stressful and uncertain life when your escape is filled with stress and uncertainty. Like, No one uses the playground outside of Guantanamo Bay. The 76ers outbreak can be traced back to Seth Curry. A lot of people believe Seth Curry is Steph Curry's brother, but by taking a deeper look at their history, we can see that Seth Curry is actually from another dimension, where he is Steph Curry. You see, during a Spider-Verse type event during the 2017 finals, Seth Curry was permanently relocated to our Earth, which, funnily enough, he calls the Bizarro world, so wow. Isn't it crazy how it's all just a matter of perspective? Seth Curry is playing for his father-in-law, Doc Rivers, in Philadelphia, which is just like so Ben Stiller. Uh-oh, hope he doesn't, like drop a baby into a clogged toilet or something. I don't know, I don't really remember the movie. The Nuggets, however, seem to have taken a step back on the defensive side of the ball. They rank 29th in the NBA in defensive rating, which makes sense for a team that really only has one high upside defensive player, Gary Harris. Yes, that's right. According to Google, Gary Harris's nickname is Gary Harris. You got a problem with that? Well, now your nickname is Gary Harris. That's how it works. Oh, but I don't want my nickname to be Gary Harris. Uh-oh, now your wife's name is Gary Harris. Not her nickname, her legal name. Don't have a wife? Boom, now you do, and her name is Gary Harris. The Nuggets' defensive struggles shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, as two of their best defensive players, Jeremy Grant and Torrey Craig, left in the offseason. Their other top-notch defensive player, Paul Millsap, can only play for so long. I mean, stop it, Denver. Haven't you read The Giving Tree? Paul Millsap has already given so much. Let him rest. That means the Denver defense is in the hands of Jamal Murray, Will Barton, shut up, and Michael Porter Jr. Which is kind of like trusting Logan Paul to do a eulogy. Everyone's gonna be disappointed. The Ball brothers faced off against each other last week. Pelicans versus Hornets, the Ball Bowl. Zion Williamson gets it to the hole, lays it in early. Then Ingram finds Williamson on the fast break for the alley-oop dunk. It was all Pelicans early. Ingram hitting the three, but the Hornets would respond. LaMelo Ball finds Miles Bridges, who slams it home. It was a personal Miles Bridges dunk fest in this one. He slams it again there. Then LaMelo swerves through the lane, Euros in. Okay, here's the game. You need to get one rebound. Are you taking Zion Williamson or the entire Hornets team? Yeah, you're taking Zion. The Pelicans open up the lane for LaMelo like they're the Capitol Hill police. Then Devontae Graham misses, but Miles Bridges is there for the putback. It's a slam fest, but he can also lay it in. Williamson flying for the slam, that one's good. The Pelicans had a big lead in the third, but then the Hornets started hitting threes. They would hit 9 threes in the quarter. Terry Rozier pulling up again here, that one's good. And then LaMelo Ball with the step back three to end the quarter. It was close in the fourth. Zion Williamson finding Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the player so nice they had to name him thrice. Then Williamson getting in the lane for the slam and then the layup. But would it be enough? Devontae Graham hitting this layup to cut the lead to 1, then hitting the and 1 to take the lead. And the Hornets would not look back. Gordon Hayward hitting another 3, then Miles Bridges from the corner would put them away. Final score, Hornets 118, Pelicans 110. The Ball brothers have both shown a great deal of potential. LaMelo is the clear frontrunner for Rookie of the Year, and Lonzo has actively campaigned to be a part of the Most Improved Player discussion. When all is said and done, we could be looking at Lonzo and LaMelo as the most famous brother duo since Joel and Ethan Cohen, or Mario and Luigi, or Eric and Lyle Menendez. And hey, if LiAngelo makes the NBA, we're looking at the new Hemsworths, the new Jonas Brothers, the new Pep Boys. This Charlotte Hornets team has been incredibly interesting to follow during this season. They lead the league in assist percentage at 28.9%, which is 5 percentage points better than their mark last year, which is crazy. I mean, people haven't shared that much in North Carolina since, lady brought sweet tea to a barbecue. I don't know anything about North Carolina. I'm sorry. The Pelicans have not been successful closing out games. The Pelicans lost against the Pacers when they were up by 6 points with 20 seconds left. Other teams in that scenario up until that point were 8,104 and 2. Well, now 3. So that means the Pelicans had a 0.0003% chance of losing that game, which according to NASA is a similar percentage chance you have of getting hit by falling space debris. That's real! The Pelicans are literally cosmically underperforming. Since the Pelicans' collapse loss to the Pacers, they've had 2 consecutive bad fourth quarter losses, to the Thunder and then the Hornets. Yeesh. Statistically speaking, their starting backcourt of Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe has been the worst in the league. They're averaging the least points per game of any starting backcourt, and they're also both in the bottom third of turnover percentile. This is a prime example of adding insult to injury. Yeah, they're not scoring, but they're also actively hurting the offense. Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe are the NBA equivalent of Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah, it's boring at times, but it's also bad. The Knicks played the Thunder last week. The Knicks started off strong. Julius Randle finds Mitchell Robinson for the slam, then RJ Barrett in the corner. Randle's averaging over 7 assists per game. That's a career high. Then RJ Barrett gets to the rim and lays it in. Then Austin Rivers hits the 3 to close out the strong first quarter by the Knicks. But Hamidou Diallo would respond in the second, first with the lay-in, then with the nice step-back jumper. If you need a stretch 5, he can be your 3-point pal. That's right, you can call him Al Horford. Horford having a nice game, hitting the mid-range and hitting another 3-pointer from the top of the key. RJ Barrett finishes the strong fast break, then misses the putback, but Mitchell Robinson thunders it home, which is ironic. Then Darius Bazley with the nice little move. Then Julius Randle with the step back jumper. Then Darius Bazley with the putback. Then Julius Randle with the mid-range jumper. Then just kidding. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets to the hole. That's good for an and one. Then he hits the tough mid-range fall-away. Then Hamidou Diallo had himself a game with that slam. Here comes Austin Rivers to finish the quarter. The Knicks were down by 6 going into the fourth. Julius Randle trying to keep his team in it with a nice spin move there, but gets pickpocketed by Hamidou Diallo, who slams it home. That's backbreaking. Then to top it all off, SGA finds Lou Dort for a corner 3. Final score, Thunder 101, Knicks 89. Both the Thunder and Knicks were thought to be bottom-feeding teams, but have exceeded expectations by being decent. The Thunder are a young team full of promising whippersnappers and Al Horford. Al Horford is kind of like the Tabasco hot sauce of players, in that he does 2 things. He makes teams that have no business being good, and he makes teams that are supposed to be great, kind of suck. This New York Knicks team is legitimately fun to watch. Through 11 games, they're 5-6, which is in large part due to their new head coach, Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau, the Penguin of the NBA, is notorious for playing his best players long minutes. This season is no exception, as both RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are averaging over 38 minutes per game. But hey, come on, this is New York. The city never sleeps. You don't get no rest here. We all use our MTA machetes to cut through the concrete jungle, man. Come on, you hungry? Get an apple. They're the size of your f***ing skull. No, not at a grocery store, at a bodega. My rent is $5,000 a minute. I live on 30th and 80th, and that's also the amount of headaches and kidney stones I'm on today. The tap water's so clean you can baptize the f***ing devil in it. I think this New York Knicks team might be for real. As a matter of fact, I'm picking them as the 8th seed in the East right now. And when I make predictions, I am never wrong. Wait, no, don't play the flashback. Which brings me to my next point, which is, don't we think people are a little too high on the Warriors? I mean, they were a jump shooting team. And here's the thing, subprime mortgages allow you to buy as many homes as you want, risk-free. Buy, baby, the market is hot. Boom, in and out, shock and awe. Stability is coming to the Middle East. Hey, I'm not afraid to say it. Get her done. I just met the most handsome, charming politician, and I think I can safely say that the future of the Republican Party is Ted Bundy. Well, that last one wasn't too far off. Now it's time for a new segment. We're going to talk about our first impressions of NBA teams this season. Please welcome my tallest friend, Brian.
Thank you for having me, Frank. Now, this today is very exciting.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
No, really, sometimes you send over the assignment and it feels a little bit like homework, but you sent this over and I gotta tell you, this is right in my wheelhouse. It feels like my moment to shine.
Okay, you know what? I'll skip over that homework stuff and just be excited because you're excited. I'll go first. My first impression is of the Toronto Raptors. Now, it doesn't take a basketball expert to see they've been struggling. They're 2-8 and they've lost a lot of close games. But I think the veteran presence on this team will help them turn it around before the playoffs come. Brian, what are some of your impressions?
Can we skip? Can we pass? Can I pass and skip?
What's wrong, man?
Back to Frank.
I'm sure whatever you have is good, man.
Oh man, I really misunderstood the prompt.
It's just impressions. They don't have to be right. It's just it seems like you have so much prepared. Why don't you just do whatever impressions you have?
Okay.
Brian?
Excuse me, guy, I'm trying to walk down the street here. I'm walking here. I'm Christopher walking down the street. I'm Christopher walking. Captain's log 21. 21. It seems we have a alien life form. Veteran actor Christopher Walken off in the distance. Hold on, Captain's log. I have to go to the doctor's office. I'm awaiting results. It is not a tumor. It is not a tumor. But I'll be back with the results. Okay, hasta la vista. Do I make you horny, baby? Do I? Do I make you horny? Would I make you horny for $1 million? $1 billion, that's a lot of money. Billionaires and millionaires, it's the top 1% of the top 1%. I'm making millions and billions of dollars every year. Wow. Wow, was that Senator Bernie Sanders? Of course, I'm Owen Wilson. Wow. Chewbacca. I am your uncle.
Brian, can I speak to you off camera? Dude, what?
I know, like when I was doing it, I realized this is probably crazy, but I thought maybe you were giving me a moment to shine.
Oh my God, it needs to be basketball related. You can shine as long as it's basketball related.
You didn't say that in an email, you just said my best.
It's implied. It's implied by the basketball show.
Well, when you make an implication, you make an ass out of you and me.
What? Why would he be Chewbacca's uncle?
Well, because the universe is large, but they keep adding new stuff to it, so I figure eventually they'll go into the genealogy.
Okay. Can you make them basketball related? Okay, for my next first impression, I'm looking at the Orlando Magic. The Magic have had a hot start to the season, but I'm not sure it's for real. They've been relying on team continuity, and I actually think some other teams might catch them because their ceiling isn't very high. Brian, any basketball related impressions?
Excuse me, sir, there seemed to be a violation on the court. That was a double dribble. I'm a referee now for the NBA, but I've had this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass for months, but now I work for the NBA. Do I make you horny, baby? Me, James Harden, baby. Do I make you horny?
Wait, what was that last one?
That was Jack Black watching from the stands.
That's not Jack Black. Jack Black is more like
No, like he's like bleep, bleep, bleep.
No, it's like
No, it's more bleep, bleep.
a ribbity.
Bleep, bleep.
A ribbity. That's Jack Black.
Oh, I disagree.
All right, well, that's our first impressions of the NBA season. Thank you guys so much for watching. These are the people who helped me with the show. Please thank them if you get the chance. Last week we asked you who you thought the top scorer of the NBA over the next week would be, and it was Bradley Beal. So props to TikTok user at 807juicyfruit. You are our winner. We are all indebted to you, and we owe you one big hug once this whole COVID thing's over. This week, why don't you tell us what you think Gary Harris's nickname should be? We know from the previous segment that it was Gary Harris, but throw out some new options, even though Gary Harris. It's pretty damn good. Anyways, I'm Frank Spiro. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Let's Talk Basketball. We'll see you next Wednesday.